Women don't want to date us anymore. I'll tell you why. This is from the National Library of Medicine, a study released in 2025. Research indicates that highly educated, high earning women are increasingly navigating a challenging dating landscape, with some opting out of the traditional relationships because they struggle to find partners who match their intellectual, financial, and emotional standards. This phenomenon is driven by a combination of rising female education, the marriage gap, a shortage of similarly educated men, and a preference for partners with equal or high earning potential. Key findings regarding this trend include a shrinking dating pool, marrying down versus opting out, the 3 E's constraint, eligible, educated, and equal, high standards and independence, impact on mental health, and financial disparity. If you're a man, there's potential that you may not be able to find the partner that you want because they are superseding a majority of the standards you may have by a long shot. When I made the statement, men struggle dating women because they're supposed to be dating men, I really brought a highlight to the simple fact that you would be more compatible with a man, realistically, right? If we're thinking about education, where you financially stand, where you economically stand, when it comes to you being a literate person who's capable of articulating yourself. Not to say that, you would have to be in a same-sex relationship, but compatibility wise, you would have a higher chance of falling into a much more stable, much more positive relationship with a man than you would with women. I believe this is an additional reason as to why we as men are so incredibly homosocial, because in all actuality, based off the parameters that we live within, the conditioning that we experience, how we sit under the thumb of patriarchy, and how we as men align with an additional denomination and consensus that most doctors agreed upon and most individuals within these studies or who have conducted these studies have agreed upon, is that we collectively are not as educated as other people. It's a lot easier for us to associate with people who are like-minded. This is why group theory is something that continuously happens. This is why men can be spread propaganda and misinformation, or can be fed propaganda and misinformation much more than women can, because in all actuality, we're just not reading. From the outside perspective, if I was a woman who is, interested in dating men, but I was that educated and I was that emotionally articulate, I was able to emotionally articulate myself and was expressive and a literate person who read consistently. On average, women read about 7 to 12 books a year. For the year they released that for, I believe it was 2022 or 2023. I have to fact check. But women are starting to read books more, right? Where it was showing that on average, and most Americans most Americans who are men typically read about 3 to 4 books a year, and that women are reading 40% more than men are. We're starting to recognize that if I was a woman from that perspective, I would obviously understand, if I were to be dating, that I would have to be dating down, and that in any interaction, if this person does not automatically have the same accolades that I have, education wise, finance wise, economy wise, whatever the case may be, I'm dating down. I'm with somebody who does not match the same, who is not on the same level when it comes to what it is that I've worked towards as I am. So obviously I'm not going to have a good time, because I'm now vetting this person and figuring out, do they match what it is that I'm looking for? Most women are probably surprised when they meet men with degrees who have real careers and are actively seeking, desires, and aren't so focused on sex, and genuinely just have a genuine love for a majority of the things that happen in their life outside of just hating women and voting their rights away. I think life would be a lot easier for men if we would stop listening to presidents, would simply just vote them in and allow their opinions and what it is that they're doing to simply just be on the back burner, and to focus more on becoming literate individuals who are able to emotionally articulate ourselves, who are introspective, and who are willing to look within when it comes to growing as a collective, becoming better men, and simply working on our social interactions and connections, so that it is a lot easier for us to potentially be a compatible partner for someone in the future, if that is what they want. One take.